What eventually disappeared and no one noticed? Our need to know who our neighbors are. I listened to a podcast about human interaction recently, and the host said that the internet slowly made it possible to live without knowing who the people are next door. It used to be that we would hang out with people in our street or attend dinners, birthdays, and whatnot. Now, everyone seems to have no need to even so much as introduce themselves. The only time we do get to know each other is if we have a complaint. More importantly, toys in Cracker Jack. Hell, they don't even come in a box anymore, they come in a bag. And speaking of prizes, you don't get those chance to win under the cap sweepstakes drinks anymore. Everything is a code that the majority of people probably never take the time to enter on a website. Used to be able to just look under the cap to see if you won, and then mail the cap to the company. We're in the process of full-size can of Arizona teas for 99 cents disappearing. I'm seeing a lot of places starting to carry the smaller plastic bottles for 99 cents or the larger plastic bottles for more. I'm honestly surprised that they've lasted for this long at the same price. Longevity in careers. This is a big one nobody seems to have said. Longevity in careers has largely gone away. People used to get a job and after being there for decades reap the benefits of being seasoned employees, higher salaries and better perks. Maybe it's because I work in the entertainment industry, but I feel that longevity in careers has gone away. Meaning, people can be amazing at a job, but after 5+ years the employers start wondering if they could be doing better with a younger, cheaper candidate for the job. I understand if you ever want to move up in a workplace they expect you to bring your A game, but 30+ years of being incredible is hard. Some years will be better than others, and if employers don't have loyalty to their employees anymore, it is likely the good employee will be fired or let go at some point. I feel like in recent decades this has forced many people who normally wouldn't, to switch careers. Can someone work successfully up the ladder at any job without having to shift to another company for a promotion? A combination of employers halting upward movement of their staff while they look for new employees to fill higher roles, and the fact that they get bored of their seasoned employees has largely killed the idea of anyone having a single career. It's a combination of a rise in pesticides combined with the absolute dearth of the plants that the butterflies eat on their journey. If you plant monarch butterfly-friendly gardens, you'll actually likely become a stop on their migration patterns because it's so needed. It should also be noted that they lay their eggs on milkweed plants, and that's the only plants that nurture and grow their larvae into pupae, and milkweed's been heavily removed from gardens in the wild as we grow our cities and agriculture. By planting a number of monarch butterfly gardens, or honestly, general pollinator gardens, as well as providing a water source like a puddling fountain, a shallow bowl fountain, or some form of water feature in your gardens, you can really help all pollinators, but specifically monarchs, due to your question. I live in Minnesota and we see monarchs from time to time, but when you plant the flowers they eat, you can start to see dozens or more during the migration season as they love those plants. Those god-awful Chevy commercials with the real people, not actors. One day, I realized I hadn't seen one in a while and it was almost as if they'd never existed. Except I knew they had. Man, I hated those damn things. Kinda surprised I haven't seen this one yet, but Ronald McDonald. You remember the old clown everywhere in and around McDonald's commercials and stores. Gone. Phased out when that clown scare prank trend was going around. Or in big markets. In the 90s, I lived in a small town that didn't have any big stores, but there was a bigger town an hour's drive away where we did our shopping that had those. In those stores, they had PlayStations and Nintendo 64s out for you to try out. I remember seeing Mario 64 for the first time there, and after some other kids got bored with it, got to try it out as well. It was magic. I think the last store console I saw was PS3, and the last one I tried was probably GBA. TV bumpers. There used to be a little sequence between the show and commercials. Some of them were really interesting and creative. I think my generation remembers the wand IDs on the Disney Channel, where a Disney celeb would use a wand to make the logo. There were also bumpers that were PSAs or other actual content. Edit. Yes, I watched that documentary on YouTube. It's amazing. Everyone go to Defunctland's channel and watch the one on the Disney Channel jingle. Just trust me. Don't look up spoilers. Being able to buy software products etc. without needing a monthly subscription for fucking everything. Edit. For all the, oh yes we noticed, comments. I get it. It wasn't an instantaneous thing. But I'm still salty about it. Thank you for your input though. Reddit live streams. Remember that guy with a guitar in your feed? He disappeared a long time ago but you didn't even notice it. Fireflies aka lightning bugs. I live rural and I used to see hundreds on a warm summer night. Now I get excited if I see just one. I mentioned it to other people who live in the same area as I do and they were just like, huh. Yeah, you're right. I'm a biologist and we categorize fireflies as bioindicators. Meaning if they are a lot in an area, it really says a lot of the environmental quality of that area. They usually thrive in areas where there is less light pollution since bioluminescence is their primary mode of communication. Insert artificial light in the equation and you disrupt their mode-species interaction. Good value for price at restaurants. Restaurants have quietly reduced portion sizes since COVID without restoring them. Noodles and Company, along with many others, advertise large portions like pre-pandemic but only give to-go sizes even when dining in. All for a higher price. Refrigerators that would last 30 years instead of 6 years. Just to piss everybody off more about this, refrigerators are mostly non-recyclable, so if fake, they just end up in a landfill. The metal outer cabinet and the plastic liner are foamed together and can't be reasonably recycled, and the compressor is full of nasty oil that's usually burned and acidic by the time the refrigerator dies. The secret was that they learned that the only reason they were leaving was because they chose to. Once politicians realized that it was actually incredibly hard to actually force them out of office, they changed tactics to just ignoring the issue and waiting for the news cycle to move on. Our recent First Minster in Northern Ireland was investigated as part of a scandal where a poorly built energy incentive scheme ended up losing £500 million in taxpayer money. She was accused of either being criminally negligent or actually criminal. The investigation decided it was the first option, just massively incompetent. Did she leave office? No. She clammed up and refused to acknowledge it and acted as if everyone was just being petty. A common pop culture, in the US, at least. Until at least the 80s, most people watched the same TV show, saw the same movies, listened to the same music, could recite the same commercial slogans or jingles, bought into the same fads. I don't know when it happened, but now we are all siloed into highly specific subcultures. Loads of high-profile people were discovered funneling their taxes through offshore tax havens like the Cayman Islands. I can't believe this isn't the main thing we hear about every day in MSM. The culture wars are a distraction from the top 0.0001% robbing the world blind.